Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Okay, my sound Chris. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Habashim Yahshua Barakatham to the brothers. Shalom, Yahushua Habashim Yahshua to the sisters. We at the Isupk Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge started out of 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana, and we've been teaching the truth since 1969 that all so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are God's chosen people, according to the Bible and according to history, because the Bible is history. It's like today we're going to be going over what is lust and what is the spirit of lust. Lust, I'm pretty sure we all heard of it before. I'm not going to take too much time. It can be sexual. It can also be something materialistic. And we're going to go over some examples in the Bible of what the spirit of lust can do to a person, right? And how it can destroy you. We're going to be talking about a couple things. I got a couple things I want to go over today. But with that, we're going to get started. So just me up here, a Madian, which means to stand. Layasharala, which means to Israel. Madyam upon Yahakwadam, which means to rise or stand and face the east. We face east because that's where Jerusalem is. We're going to be getting started with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Sisters, remember to have your heads covered. Brothers, remember to have your heads uncovered when doing the prayers. We're going to get started in the Hebrew, the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwavka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Shemayim, Latamanawa, Lakum, Call, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawathinawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Banasaiwan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Watapara, Lawalumium, Amun. Now in the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Hakak, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Babakashah, Athamanawa, Hakak, Hakak, Rapa'ah, Call, Makala, Wakal, Madawa, Hakak, Atahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, Lahaquayim, Hamathim, Hakak, Al, Rakawath, Atamalo, Lagarshun, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for water, Amun. Now in the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, wa Me'aka Allah, wa Alahayim, wa Tazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapyan, Ha Sarunyan, Ha Patazayoyan, Haka Yayoyan, wa Ha Akwathian, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, for water, Aman. Now in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayenya, All, Haharyam, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Izoria, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Waratazah, Oyathan, Lamawat, Wagalka, All, Yanawam, Shemorka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shemarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Oyad, Yamyamka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'afka, Wabawa'afka, Maita, Wa'ai, Iwalam. Now in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Slakia. In the Hebrew, Alahayim, all the Meyalaka, all the Karash, all the Shakwat, all Kayahana, Awayedika, Yahama Yawan, Ra'ash, Ayal Amaka, Ya'ayamot, Sawada, Waita, Yaitazawa, Ayal, Tazapawanyaka, Omarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidim, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala, Awada, Kaya, Na, Waitazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Alyaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahoya, Adawam, Wa Yashama Alian, Mawa'aba, Wahagorium, Gabal, Waimawan, Waimalak, Palashath, Amishabia, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zorawai, Labunya, Lawats, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kamadyam, Kasaya, Sara'a, Kayabyan, Banako, Koyashwan, Nasha Marwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La Adama, Shayatamwa, Nada Yamawa, Kairab, Wakazaba, Wakazaba, Wakatazalmanai, Call, Nasayakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Af, Naawath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Rawaka'a, Ka'ash, Taba'ira Ya'ira, Wa Kalahaba, Thalahat, Haryam, Kun, Tharadama, Basairaka, Obasa, Wapafka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kualawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Wayabahawa, Adiai, Wayakaparwa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Diawa, Kaya Ada, Shamka, Yahawa, Labaka, Aliwan, Alcohol, Harataza. Now in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still. O God, for lo, thine enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. A sword also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. Do unto them, as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red, and like Zaid. Yea, all their princes, as Zabah, and as Almuna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high of all the earth. All right, you may be seated. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. So we're going to be going over a couple things, but we're going to be going over two main accounts in the Bible. We'll go over the first one that I want to go over. It's going to be in 2 Samuel. We're going to start in chapter 13. Chapter 13. And those who are familiar with this, you might already know what I'm talking about. But for those of y'all who are not familiar, I guess this will be a good class then. So I'm going to start with the first 7 verses in the Hebrew, as always. Book of 2 Samuel, chapter 13, verse 1 in the Hebrew. Ag Yahweh, Aka Yaad, Bazah. Let's see. Yala Basha La Yam, Ka'an, Da Ya'ar, Aka Ya'af, Apa'a, it's like Yapa'a, Yashama, Thamar, or Thamar, it's like you. Waya Ba'a, Amanyam, Ka'an, Da Ya'ar, Wayatazar, Laman Ya'an, La'atha La Ya'af, Ka'ai Ba Ya'ad, Thamar, Akathya, Kaya, Batha La'a, Aya'a, Waya Pala'a, Ka'ai Yanya, Aman Nayan, La'ai Shayaf, La'a, Ma'a, let's see, Ma'a Yamma, let's see, Yala Manyan, let's see, the I, Yashamaya, let's see, Wayan Da'ab, Ka'an, Shama'ai, Akaya, Daya'ad, Wayan Da'a, Ayash, Kama, Kaba'am, Ma'a, Waya Ma'ad, La'ai, Laya, Mada Ya'ai, Atha'a, Kaba'a, Da'o, Ka'an, Hamala'ad, Qua'ar. Qua'ar again. Let's see. Hala ma'a thaga ya'a la ya waya ma'ad la ya amanyan ath thamar akaya'ath abasha la'am akaya anya an ahaab la. Let's see. Ya'am ma'ar la'a. Let's see. Yaha lanya na'ab shaba'ab al mashakaba'an ya'atha ka'o yaba'a. Let's see. Abawa'an la lada la ra'atha'an ya mada'ath yad alaya thaba'a na'a thama'ad akayathanya thanwa selakir yatha bana ya'a lakam ya'ai shatha'a la'ai yanya wanwa selakir ath hakada ya'a lama'ayan asya'ar ada si ara'a abal lathanya thawa maya da'a wayashakab ka'ab qua'ab amma ya'a ya yatha ka'o waya ba'a kama layan lada athaya waya aba'an amanya na'an o hamala'an sabba ya'a na'a saba'a akathaya qua'a atha yathala qua'ab la'ai yanya wanya Fashawa. Let's see. Laba ba'ath. Let's see. Ya'a ba'a maya da'a wayasha la'a shala'a da ya'ar la'a asakya all thamad ka yatha'a la ma'ad la baya na'a ka ya'ath amanyan kayaan. Let's see. Ya'aisha'a la'ar ha quadaya'a. Okay, Slakia. Okay, we got let's see. All right, Shalom Lord in Christ, Akwath. I see the sisters checking in. Okay, so now we're gonna go to 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 1. And it says, and it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister. Some of y'all might already be familiar with this. This is for anybody who's never heard of this before, right? So this is talking about Absalom, the son of David. It said that he had a fair sister. Fair meaning, she's pretty or she's beautiful, right? So he had a sister that was very beautiful, very physically attractive, right? Whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her. Now, I don't give it away just yet. And Amnon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin. Now, okay, if I could just talk about what a virgin is according to the Bible. So in today's terminology, virgin is usually a person, it could be a man or a woman, who has never had sexual intercourse before. That is not entirely true according to the Bible. If you look at the term for virgin, a virgin is usually referred to for a woman who might have never had sex before. That is still a virgin, but it also refers to a young woman of marriageable age. She's a young woman. She might have, let's say she did have a husband at one point, and sadly the brother might have passed away or something. For those of y'all who are wondering, according to the law, if a woman has a husband and for whatever reason that brother has passed away, she is now free from the law of her being married onto somebody because, well, of course, her husband doesn't exist anymore. So she is free to remarry under that circumstance. Now, let's say she's a young woman whose husband passed away. She would still be considered a virgin because that is also what a virgin is. So it can be a young woman of marriageable age, regardless if she has kids or not, or if she's already had a husband and he passed away, or a woman who has never had sexual intercourse, meaning she's never been married, because we all know that according to the Bible, sex is marriage. Just so we're clear on that. So when it says that his sister was a virgin, odds are she probably never did have sex before. And she was probably a woman of marriageable age, right? For she was a virgin, and Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man. Now, just so we're clear, right? This says that there was a man named Jonadab. Jonadab was the son of Shemaiah, David's brother. Now, remember, Amnon was also the son of David. So this would be his cousin. All right, Jonadab is his cousin. It doesn't say that, but we can put two and two together and understand that this is his cousin. And it says that he was a very subtle or subtile man, meaning he was you ever got that one cousin who just kind of like a little shady? He always got the dirty details about everything. He's probably doing some stuff that he probably shouldn't be doing. Yeah, Jonadab was that guy. He was that guy. And for those of y'all who are catching on, you probably are already understanding that when it says that Amnon, right, because we just read in verse 2 alone that Amnon was very vexed. He was very vexed that he he loved his sister. Now, here's the thing. Why would a brother ever be vexed about loving his sister? Aren't you supposed to love your sister? Right? That's your sister, right? She's family. You're supposed to love your sister. Anybody is free to put it in the chat. Why do you think he was so vexed that he loved his sister? What kind of love do you think this man had for his sister? I'll give y'all just a quick moment, right? Let's see if anybody paying attention. Why do you think that he was vexed for loving his sister? I'll give y'all a few more moments. If nobody got it, then I'll just give it away. All right, nobody got it? Okay. Well, the reason why he was vexed, meaning that he was hot and bothered that he loved his sister, is that, he loved his sister, but it wasn't the kind of love that you're thinking. This wasn't brotherly love as in, I'm going to look after my sister and protect her, love her as a sister. No. Amnon was attracted to his sister sexually. He was sexually attracted to his blood relative, right? And we're going to prove that in the Bible, right? We're going to keep reading. So we're in the book of 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 4. And he said unto him, why art thou being the king's son, lean from day to day? So Jonadab, his cousin, asking him like, hey man, what's good with you? You the king's son. You a prince. You got
palace. You got all these women that want you. You got money. You got riches. You probably got a chamber. Like you're living really good. So why are you? What's good with you? Why are you so hot and bothered, right? And it says, let's see. Why art thou being the king's son, lean from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. Now, this is kind of like, okay, this is like attention to detail thing right here, right? So Amnon and Absalom are both David's son. Now, Tamar, he says right here, Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. You see how he tried to kind of like reword it, like, she's not my sister, that's Absalom's sister. But in his spirit, he already knew that he was doing something wicked in his mind, because if put it like this, if this wasn't his blood relative, he wouldn't be feeling some type about being sexually attracted to her. He knows that there's something wrong with him. That's why he's so vexed. Jonadab, he peeped this. He's like, what's good with you, man? So he's telling him what's wrong with him. He's saying that he's attracted to his sister. That's what he's saying right now, okay? So now, it says right here in verse 5, and Jonadab said unto him, lay thee down on thy bed, and make thyself sick. And when thy father cometh to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister, again, his actual sister, Tamar, come and give me meat, and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it, and eat it at her hand. Now, remember we just read earlier that Jonadab is a very subtle or subtle man, meaning this isn't really a trustworthy cousin in a sense, if you get what I mean by that. So instead of knocking some sense into Amnon's head, that's what any good cousin will do, any good family member would do, if they see that you're, you tweaking, bro. What's going on with you? Nah, bro. First of all, you are the king's son. You are a prince. There's probably at least 100 women that want you. Go pick one. Go pick two. Pick 5. However many you see fit for you, right? Don't be lusting after your sister. That's what a good relative would do. But Jonadab didn't do that. He gives him instructions on how to, what's a good word? Beguile. You'll see that word in the Bible a few times. Beguile not just his father, but his sister. It says that's his sister in the Bible, to trick her into being alone with him, right? We're going to keep reading as to why this is important, what he just said, right? So we're going to go to verse 6. So Amnon laid down and made himself sick. So he went by his shady cousin's instructions. And when the king was come to see him, Amnon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar my sister come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. So he does exactly what Jonadab tells him to do. He makes himself sick. His father comes to check on him. He tells his father, oh, I'm so sick. Can you please go get my sister to come treat me? And you wouldn't think nothing of this, because it's like, a sister taking care of her brother. No one's thinking anything weird about this. No one's like, well, why do you want to see your sister? Why do you want to be alone with her? No one's thinking that, because, it's just, she's helping out her brother. That's what the average person would think, right? It's not what Amnon was thinking, right? Let's keep reading. In verse 7, then David sent home to Tamar, saying, go now to thy brother Amnon's house, and dress him meat. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was laid down. And she took flour and kneaded it, and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan and poured them out before him, but he refused to eat. So again, she's just going there thinking, my brother, he's sick. I gotta go take care of him, make sure he's good. That's what any good sister would do, right? But it says right here that he refused to eat. And Amnon said, have out all men from me, and they went out every man from him. Now, to paint a picture, this is what he's doing. He got Tamar in his room. Now he's telling all the guards, like, hey, y'all good. My sister got it. Y'all can leave now. And they don't think nothing of it, because, well, he's King David's son. He's the prince. And again, It's just a sister. She's just taking care of her. Family helping out family. So no one thinks it's the perfect disguise in a sense. So they listen to him. Oh, yeah, no problem. So they leave, right? So now it says, and Amnon said unto Tamar, bring the meat into the chamber that I may eat of thy hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them into the chamber to Amnon, her brother. Remember, it's just her and him now. So now all the guards are gone. Dad's not there. Cousin's not there. Shady cousin John's dad is not there. The other brother, who was it, Absalom, he's not there. No one's there, right? And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her and said unto her, come lie with me, my sister. Again, he refers to her as his sister. Now, in the school, we have sayings, right? Black people, Native Americans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, all of the 12 tribes of Israel. We have a saying, that's that brother right there or that sister right there. We say that as a form of like, we are of the same people. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's my blood sister. Like, just so we're clear right now, for y'all freak boys out there, you do not lie down with your actual sister. I don't know even why I got to have that conversation, because I bumped into some weirdos lately who try to justify some things. So let's just get that out the way right now. You are not to lay down with your blood sister, okay? Just so we're clear. I'll be getting into the book of Leviticus for that, just in case if there's any confusion or any fake Israelite out there who wants to teach that garbage. All right? So it says that he took hold of her and said unto her, come lie with me, my sister. Meaning, you got to think, like, he's grabbing her and telling her, like, hey, come here so we can go have sex. That's what he's telling his sister. So let's continue reading. And when she had, verse 12, the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 13, verse 12. And she answered him, nay, meaning, no, my brother, her brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Give me 1 second. Okay, so yeah, getting back to who is this? This scripture reminds me of the movie Flowers in the Attic, where the brother began to fall for his sister. I ain't never seen that movie, but that sounds wild. But this is pretty much what's going on right now. So for everybody who's just coming in right now, we're going over 2 Samuel chapter 13. We're going over what is the spirit of lust. Now, lust, I got to keep this a little PG now because we got kids in here. It can be something that is sexually immoral, but it can also mean, you ever heard that term, somebody who's very materialistic? Have you ever heard that before? Kind of, sort of?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So materialistic meaning somebody, let's say, okay, let me ask a question. Is having money a sin?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So yeah, yes or no?
No.
There you go. You gotta be confident with your answer. So yeah, no, having money is not a sin. I mean, we kind of need money to, we got bills to pay, we got stuff like that. Now, here's the problem. What happens when you crave money so much above anything else? You ever heard that saying, money is the root of all evil?
Yeah.
All right. Why do you think that?
Because like money and like society and like years like points and stuff like that, money has been used to like buy stuff, like payments and stuff like that. Like in ancient Egypt, like they had like the mud houses or something like that, like the landowners and stuff like that, like the pharaohs, like the money and stuff. So like money has been like a use for like thousands, hundreds of years, but then like a bunch of people like need it and stuff like that. But some might like need it like way too much. So then it makes them think like, oh, I need money more than anything else. So something like that.
Okay, for anybody who didn't, the young brother is right too. I don't know if anybody can hear him, but he's pretty much getting into that. Yeah, it's not bad to like need money because we do need money today. It's just how it is. We do need a currency. But when you start getting into that mindset of you need money more than anything else, you start prioritizing it over anybody else. Like perfect example, we was at camp in Vegas, right? And I remember there was a sister. There was like a little booth, like right next to us. Anybody who was at camp probably knows what I'm talking about. It's a lot, yeah. But there was a booth right there. There was they were selling something. I don't know what it was. And I had a conversation with the sister, and the only thing she seemed to be worried about was money. That's it. Well, y'all yelling so much. I gotta get this money. I gotta get this money. She wasn't listening to anything that we were actually saying. There were some people that were walking about like, you know what? Yeah, they right. We should stop doing that. We should stop killing each other. Stop doing drugs. We was in Vegas. I mean, Vegas is, it's nicknamed Sin City. I mean, just think of that, right? There's all types of immoral things that are going over there, right? I think that's like the perfect example of like a place of lust. You got it all over there. I got to be careful with my words now because we got kids, but y'all know, like brother over here, like you know what's in Vegas, right? And Vegas is very well known for having very immoral practices, so to speak, right? But the whole point is when you start prioritizing money more than anything else, you'll do anything for money. And that's the mindset of some of our people. I've had plenty of conversations with some people. And the conversation sometimes I just be looking at people like, what? Like they'll ask you, oh, would you do this for $100,000? And I'll be like, no. Oh, yes, you would. Yes, you would. Matter of fact, we just had a conversation at my slave this earlier week, right? And I just got to say what it is. They were talking about OnlyFans, right? They were talking about that. And some people were questioning me like, oh, well, would you have an OnlyFans? First of all, I'm like, the hell do I look like? Slocky? Like, but they were asking, well, what if somebody paid you $100,000 to have an OnlyFans? And I said, no. And it was a sister there, and she looked at me like immediately, and she was like, yes, you would. Yes, you would. That's $100,000. What do you mean? I'm like looking at her like, I'm pretty sure you would do it for $5, honestly. But no, I have these things called morals. You understand? People hate the ISUPK. They hate brothers and sisters who believe that we're Israelites and stuff. And it's like, what are we doing that's so bad? I'm having a class right now where I'm trying to educate people on what the spirit of lust is and how it can be damaging, not just to you, but to your friends, your family, kids, so on and so forth, right? It's very destructive. It's a destructive practice. And people will tell you, oh, who cares? Get the bag. Get this bread. Get this money. And it's like, okay, but look at what y'all doing for that money. I seen a video, everybody who knows I be on TikTok a bit, and I seen this video. I believe it was a sister. I'm not sure. But she was calling out people, especially women, who wanted to get into the OnlyFans business, right? And she was exposing some of the truth behind it, saying like, a lot of y'all think that y'all gonna get on OnlyFans and make all this money selling all these pictures and all these videos, yada, 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 and you're just gonna blow up. because that's what's marketed now. You know, all these IG models and so on and so forth, and they're living all this lavish lifestyle by indulging in sexually immoral practices and making videos and pictures of themselves, right? So you think, a lot of women today think that, okay, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it. And then reality hits, and it turns out that's not what happens. You're not making a whole bunch of money. You actually making less money than what you was making at your job. So now you're not just broke, you broke and naked on the internet. You just clowned yourself. Now everybody can see you in your indecency, and you're not even making a profit off of it. Imagine that. Then a lot of them, they regret their decisions, right? They regret it, and now they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. But here's the funny thing about the internet. Once it's on the internet, it's there. It's there. Unless you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, or you're good at hacking, or you're a multi-millionaire or billionaire, ain't no way it's getting off the internet. Now everybody can see you. I've heard plenty of stories of sisters who have an OnlyFans or whatever, and they didn't like it or whatever, and they stopped. But then they find out somebody at their job, because they're perverted as well, they find it. And you know, people gossip, people are nosy, so it'll be somebody at the slave like, oh, look at Brittany, like, and then they want to show it to their homeboy, and then they show it to their homeboy, and then they show it to their friends, and then the boss find out, the manager find out, supervisor. Now everybody done seen you now. Now you're embarrassed, and then sometimes you get fired. That's a fact. I'm just being real with you. That is a fact. You get fired once they start finding out, because they don't want their company being represented by this sexually immoral person. It could be a man or a woman. It doesn't necessarily have to be a woman, right? But that's lust, right? Sexual immorality. That's what I'll call it, right? So now, to get back to the scriptures, right? 2 Samuel chapter 13. Let's see, where was I at? We're going to go to verse 12. Now, just a quick recap, right? So we're talking about Amnon, who is the son of David, and he's in a room with Tamar. Tamar is his actual sister, not a sister. This is his blood relative, right? And he wants to lie down with her. Now, I'm going to recap what she says, right, and what happens, because he takes hold of her forcefully and tells her, like, I want you in that way. You get my point? So let's read what she says. In verse 12, she answered, "Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel." Because she knows that this is wrong. This is a sin against God, okay? She cannot lie down with her brother. That's wrong, right? Do not vow this folly, meaning don't do this. But she also understands, she's trying to convince him, because she understands, like, on average, a man is stronger than a woman. So she can't fight him off. Not physically anyway. So she's trying to talk to him, you know, get him to clear his mind, get that demon out of him. Verse 13, "And I, whither shall I cause my shame to go?" Meaning, if she sits here and allows for this to happen, she knows that it's a shameful and disgusting act. And look, the truth always comes out. Look, you can try to hide your sins from everybody. God sees you, okay? I'll get to another account in the Bible to discuss that as well, right? So her shame is going to be with her if she allows for this to happen. You understand? So now it says, "As for thee, thou shalt be one of the fools in Israel." Meaning, if people find out what you have done, talking about Amnon, her brother, the prince, right? The son of David, royalty. If people find out that you out here doing this, no one's going to take you seriously. You'll be a laughing stock. People are going to look at you like, who is this? This dude's disgusting. This dude is disgusting. You're a grapist. Okay, you committed incest. You're a lustful being, and you're disgusting. That's what people are going to think of you. And you're supposed to be, you know, the prince. You're supposed to bring honor to your father. We're talking about the son of David, by the way. Dawada, which means beloved in the Hebrew, right? Because it says in the scriptures, I'm paraphrasing, that David was after the Most High's own heart, right? That's how much he loved the Most High. You got to understand that, right? So now, let's keep going. "Now, therefore, I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee." Now, this is this is a tricky one right here, right? So it says, now therefore I pray thee, speak unto the king meaning who? Who's the king? This young man right here. Just throw out a name, any name.
David?
There you go, King David, right? And we're reading about King David's who?
Son?
His son, right?
The prince, right?
Yep. Okay, so now it says, therefore I pray thee, speak unto the king meaning David, right? And David is his...
David is his son?
No.
David is the father.
There you go. Yeah. David is his father. So she's telling him to speak to his father. And she says, for he will not withhold me from thee. This is one of those scriptures in the Bible. It takes some critical thinking, right? What she is actually doing, she's trying to trick Amnon, because she's telling him, oh, what, just go talk to your father. He's the king. If he approves it, then, surely, I can't say no. That's what she's trying to say. What she's actually doing is she knows that if David, the king, their father, right, if he knows that his son is trying to forcefully lie with his sister, David will not allow for that to happen. She knows this. That's why she's trying to get him in the mindset of, well, just ask your dad. If he says it's cool, then it's fine. She knows it's not going to be fine. Again, she's being very crafty. This is very smart, because she understands that, okay, I'm a woman, he's a man, he has hold of me already. I can't forcefully get away from him. I'm not stronger than him. I can't beat him up. So, right, well, let's see. I was right there at the booth too at camp. I remember she the one who called the sheriff on us, but they didn't do anything. She tried it. There you go. Yep. See, somebody knew, right? But my point being is, yeah. So she's trying to trick him, being smart, right? Let's keep going though. Verse 14. Howbeit he would not hearken unto her voice, meaning he's not listening to her, right? He didn't fall for it. It was a good effort, but he didn't fall for it. But being stronger than she, like I said before, forced her and lay with her. So he forcefully lied with his sister, just so we're clear on what happened. She tried to kind of swindle her way out of there. It didn't work. And this man sexually assaulted his sister. Now, here's the cold part, right? This is something I want to get into, right? Verse 15. And Amnon, then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he loved her. And Amnon said unto her, arise and be gone. I'm gonna read like two more, and we're gonna talk about this for a minute. Verse 16. And she said unto him, there is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. But he would not hearken unto her. So there's two things. There's two things right here, right? Actually, no, I'll read verse 17 and then I'll talk about it. Then he called his servant that ministered unto him and said, put now this woman out from me, and bolt the door after her. Okay. So just so we're clear, this man sexually assaulted his sister, right? He committed the act. He completed what he was trying to do. But then immediately after, it says that he hated her exceedingly. Why do y'all think that is?
Because I guess the sister, they're gonna be like trying to like fight it out, because you tried to like use like a mind trick or something like that. But like, was it because like she like did it without like trying to like do something else or something like that?
No. No, that's not what I'm looking for. We're gonna talk about it. You got anything, brother, before I say anything?
I believe the reason why he wanted to put her away, because every time he looked at her, it reminded him of his sin. So, it's kind of like throwing a rock, then hide your hand about it. Well, I don't have to be reminded if I get her far away from me. My dirt ain't got to be discovered.
So, okay, you're not wrong. That's a very good take on that too. You're not wrong. So we're gonna talk about this real quick. So what the brother just said, he committed the sin, right? He committed the sin by lying with his sister. But now it's like he has to see her now. He got to see her. He's going to be reminded of his sin. You're not wrong. That's very good, by the way. He's going to be reminded of his sin if he continues to look at her. So he's like, just be gone. I don't want to see you, right? That is true. I want to dig a little deeper into this. So here's the thing with demons. I love talking about this because I was police officer Karataza. He had a class. I want to say it was either earlier this year, maybe last year, and he said something that really stuck with me. It was something, I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly what he said, but the way demons move, right? Spiritually, demons. First of all, demons don't play fair. Let's just get that straight real quick. They love to attack you when you're weak. In the Bible, just so y'all clear, demon doesn't exist in the Bible, like the word, it doesn't exist. It's called, we'll call it is a familiar spirit. That's what we'll call it, a familiar spirit. See, when you come into the school, right, you change, right? You become this new creature. People will sometimes think like, I'm free now. Like, I'm not, there you go, guilt. I'm free now. I don't have to deal with these demons anymore. That's not how it works. Now, see here in the school, now spiritually, you have the tools and the knowledge, and you have the unity of brothers and sisters to help fight off those demons. Some of those demons might be lust, right? So what I'm getting at is when he committed this act, right? The demon was on him. She tried to snap him out of it. It didn't work. And he completed what he was going to do. Here's the thing with demons. Once you are in that moment, right? It's not you. I know this might kind of like go over people's heads. It's not you. That's the demon taking over you and you allowed for it to happen. So then you commit the sin, whatever it may be. It might be something like this, incest. It might be you getting a tattoo. It might be you smoking weed. It might be you, can I talk about this? I'll keep it as PG as I possibly can. Adult films. Those, buying a sex worker, eating something that is unclean, shellfish, crab, shrimp, pork, lobster, any sin. It could be any sin, right? Once you complete the sin, the demon did its job. So you know what the demon's going to do? He leaves you. That's it. When Amnon completed his sin, the demon said, okay, you know what? My work's done. Bye. And then Amnon came into realization, going back to what you were saying. Now he's like, oh, snap. I just slept with my sister. And now he has to look at her. Like you said, he has to look at her. And now he's going to be reminded of his sin. Like, I really just did that. Get this woman out of here. I don't even want to look at her because guilt. Like you just said, guilt, right? He doesn't want to be reminded of his sin, but it already happened, right? He allowed for that demon, that lustful demon, to take over him, and he committed the act. And now that the act is over, now he feels shame. Now he's guilty. Now he's even more vexed than what he was earlier. He got what he wanted. It really wasn't what he wanted. It's what the demon wanted. Because he knew it was wrong. That's why it said in the scriptures that he was so vexed. So much that Jonadab, his cousin, he looked at him like, hey, what's good with you, bro? Like, you the king's son. What are you worried about? And he told him. And what did Jonadab do? Jonadab, instead of being a good cousin, he gave him instructions on how to complete the sin. That was a demon right there. Everything led up to it, and he allowed for it to happen. Now, there's something that Tamar says. I'm going to go back to verse 16, right? When he tries to put her away. So this is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 16. And it says, and she said unto him, there is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. But he would not hearken unto her. What does that mean?
pretty much, doing what you did was one thing, but it's more evil for you to send me out into the world under the protection of you and my father, is what I believe she's trying to say. We know how much harder it would be for a woman to be out there in the world by herself without the protection of any man. And now that she didn't been humbled, she can't get a husband of her own. So it's pretty much almost like a death sentence.
You're like right there. You're right there. Okay. So again, you're not wrong in what you're saying. So, okay, let me say it like this. He slept with his sister, right? So now, even though that's his blood sister, what is she now that he slept with her?
You could say his rib, or in other words, his responsibility.
Yes, because according to the law, sex is marriage, right?
Right.
So now he slept with his sister. So even though that's his sister, but now that according to the law, that's his wife. Even though he already broke the law by committing sin with his sister, but now, according to the law, since he slept with this woman and he lied down with her and humbled her, this would be his wife. At least that's what the law would do. But here's the problem. This is why she was trying to talk some sense into him. Like, you can't do this, because she knew what was going to happen. If she were to lay down with this man, his sister, that would mean that now they're husband and wife, but they're brother and sister. It's incest. So now this is why she says this. And she said unto him, there is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. So now it's like sin on sin. You already committed the sin, but now you're throwing me away as well. So now you became my husband, but now you're divorcing me, which is now going to cause her to be a whore, because now if she has sex with another man, well, now she had sex with two men. Now she's a whore, according to the Bible. So now he has welcomed more sin onto her. That's why it's even more evil from what he already did. That's why she was trying to avoid all of that. But now it's too late, right? So now to just kind of wrap that one up real quick, because there was another account I wanted to get to before we end the class. So now to wrap this up, Amnon, he ends up dying later on. He ends up dying. I believe it was Absalom, the brother, if I'm not mistaken, that killed him. David ends up finding out, like she does get her justice in a sense. But to wrap this part up, the brother ends up dying, right? He dies. And the sister, she gets sexually assaulted, right? There was nothing good that came out of this. Somebody dies, somebody gets sexually assaulted. That is the product of lust, in a sense, right? There was another account that I wanted to go over real quick. Let me see. Should I get to it real quick? I believe it is in, I think it's 1 Samuel. No, it's 2 Samuel. It is 2 Samuel. Okay, so 2 Samuel, we're going to go to verse, not verse, chapter 11. Is this the one that I'm looking for? Okay. So we're going to go to 2 Samuel chapter 11. We're going to start at verse 1. So it says, and it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. And it came to pass in an evening tide, that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And let's see, the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife keyword wife of Uri the Hittite. So this is a married woman. Let's just get that through real quick, right? And as great of a brother as David was, this was an error that he made. We're going to talk about it. Verse 4, and David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and returned unto her house. So this was a booty call. I don't really know what else to call it, right? So David, King David at that, saw this woman, Bathsheba, and she was bathing, and he was looking up and down, right? Now somebody tells David that, hey, look, that's a married woman. That is the wife of Uri the Hittite. David was like, yeah, that's cool. I want her. And he sent his messengers, and she listened, and she slept with David. So they're both wrong. Let's put that out there right now. They're both wrong. Because if she was righteous, she could have easily said, oh no, I'm married. But she allowed it. She probably, the king want me? Really? Shoot, okay. That's how some sisters in the world think. You see a man of status, even though you belong to another man, a man of status or a man of money from a worldly aspect, he shows some interest in you. Now all of a sudden, oh, you with it now. You see it a lot today, like when like celebrities, you see a lot of women who go to like concerts and stuff like that. You see Drake or Travis Scott or Bad Bunny or whoever you got your we call it celebrity crushes. This is a man of, in your eyes, status. Even though you got a man, you up in the club, half naked, drunk, and Lord forbid that man show a little bit of interest in you, or you're with it. That was Bathsheba. She saw that David was interested in her, and she said, shoot, what husband? And she went with it, right? So they're both wrong. So let's see. And it says right here in verse 5, and the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. Now she's pregnant. Now she's pregnant with David's child. Uh-oh. This was a sneaky link that they tried to do. But it ain't sneaky because she got pregnant. Can't hide the baby. That baby bump gonna come eventually, right? So let's keep reading. Verse 6. And David sent to Joab, saying, send me Uri the Hittite. And Joab sent Uri to David. Uri is her husband, right? And Uri was come unto him. David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And David said to Uri, go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uri departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uri slept at the door of the king's house, and all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. So Uri, this is a Hittite, right? He's a heathen, but he was very devoted. He was very devoted to David, right? He was a very devoted soldier, right? Who had a lot of respect for his king. And when they told David, saying, Uri went not down unto his house, David said unto Uri, camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thy house? Meaning, ain't you tired? Why didn't you go home? Why you at my crib? So what does Uri do? Verse 11. Uri said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into mine house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As thou livest and thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing. He's pretty much saying, like, I am devoted to you. He was that devoted to his Adawan, in a sense, right? That he was gonna deny his own wife. Like, she at the crib. I'll go see her later. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna perform my duties. Let's keep reading. Verse 12. And David said to Uri, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uri abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And David had called him, and he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And even he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his Lord, but went not down to his house. So he's still not going to his house. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uri. And he wrote in the letter saying, set ye Uri in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. This is okay. Again, we say a lot of good things about King David, right? We say a lot of good things about King Solomon. Both of them have committed sins in their own right, and this is something to learn from. We all know about King Solomon and his lust for heathen women and how that destroyed him in the end. We always talk about that account. I didn't want to go to that account this time. I want to talk about something else. We're going to talk about David. David, he lusted after Bathsheba, and he had sex with Bathsheba, a married woman, married to one of his guards in a sense, right? So this is what David is doing, in case you haven't caught on already. There's a reason why he wants Uri in the forefront of the next battle. Because he says right here, let me see if I can go back to it real quick. Set ye Uri in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. He's trying to get Uri killed. Why do you think he wants Uri killed?
So that he can be within the law.
Just make sure. No, I'm saying like we just make sure you get it. So what you got, brother?
Say so that he could be within the law, saying that well, her husband died, so now she's a free woman.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what David's trying to do. For those of y'all who might not have heard him, what he's trying to do, like earlier in this class, I actually said that, and it says it in the scriptures, if a woman is married, right, and for whatever reason, sadly, her husband passes on, she is now free from that married law because, her husband's not here anymore. Even if she had kids with him or whatever, her husband, he's gone. So now she is free to be remarried. She's been widowed, right? So what David is trying to do, he already committed the sin. But the thing is, he can't hide it that much longer because remember, we just read she got pregnant. So that baby bump is it's going to show. That's why he was questioning him, like, why didn't you go back to your house? He wanted Uri to go back home and sleep with his wife to kind of make it look like, okay, that's your kid. Oh my goodness, this happens way too much in today's day and age. Okay, he's trying to cover it up. But here's the problem. Uri didn't want to go home. So now it's like, damn, how am I going to cover this up? Ooh, I know. Let me get Uri killed. Let me get him killed. Because now if he's dead, like you just said, right? She is now Bathsheba. She's free from the law. She doesn't have a husband. That's why he's sending him to the forefront. Because he knows if he's in the front, 99% chance he's going to die. That's wicked as hell. But this is the spirit of lust. Lust destroys you and the people around you. All right? Because we just read earlier, I kind of briefly skimmed over it just due to time's sake. Amnon, he gave into lust. Through that lust, he sexually assaulted his sister and introduced her to more sin. And he ended up dying. So he died for his sin, right? So now we're going to read this account. So let's see. So we just read verse 15 where it says that, and retire ye from him that he may be smitten and die, right? Verse 16, and it came to pass when Joab observed the city that he assigned Uri unto a place where he knew the valiant men were. And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab, and there fell some of the people of the servants of David, and Uri the Hittite died also. So he died, right? Then Joab sent and told David all these things concerning the war, and charged the messenger, saying, when thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, and if so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say unto thee, wherefore approach ye so nigh unto the city, when ye did fight, knew ye not that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech the son of Jerubesheth, and not a woman cast a piece of millstone upon him from the wall that he died in Thebez. Let's see, that's not what I'm looking for. Prevailed. Skip down real quick. Okay, let's see. Let's skip down to verse 24. And the shooters shot from off the wall upon the servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uri the Hittites, Slakia, is dead also. Then David said unto the messenger, Thou shalt say unto Joab, Let not this thing displease thee, for the sword devoureth one as well as another. Make thy battle more strong against thy city, and overthrow it, and encourage thou him. And when the wife of Uri heard that Uri her husband was dead, she mourned for her husband. And when the mourning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Lord. This is cold, okay? This is what lust. This should let you know that even somebody as mighty as King David can succumb to lust, okay? And it doesn't matter what your status is. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how handsome you are, how pretty you are. Those are carnal things. It doesn't matter. If you allow for lust to overtake you, people are going to get hurt. People can die. This is a sneaky link in the Bible. This happens all the time in today's age. I just had a conversation with some of my co-workers. It's some Isupk brothers that I work with. And, we just had some downtime. So, you're just talking about stuff. And I'm like, man, the stuff they were telling me, I'm like, man, this is what happens. This is what happens in our communities. Brothers, look, in today's day and age, brothers will kill each other over a woman. They won't even fault the woman. You slept with my woman, they won't even fault her. Baby, I love you, and then they'll kill him and keep the woman. That's what brothers do today. Brothers die. Women die for stuff like that. A brother might, I hate to paint a picture, but a brother might walk in on his wife being humbled by somebody else. He just loses it in a blind rage. Now, they both died. And sometimes he may feel guilty, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. And he will commit suicide. That happens as well. People die from this, man. This is not no laughing matter, right? People die from this. We just read about Amnon. Now we're reading about David and how he tried to cover it up. Uri died. Yeah, he was a Hittite. Yeah, he wasn't an Israelite, but I mean, like, he ain't have to die. For what? Because David slept with his woman in secrecy. She got pregnant. He tried to cover it up because he knew eventually it would come about. So like how you said earlier, brother, he tried to cover it up. So he sent Uri out into the forefront, knowing that he was going to be killed. He got killed. Now that he's killed, Bathsheba is now free from the law. Now to everybody else, it'll just seem like, oh, well, David taking her to wife ain't really going to be anything wrong because, her husband's dead, right? But it said that this displeased the Lord because just because nobody else knows what's going on, the Lord is watching. And he saw everything from start to finish. You got to think about how disappointed the Most High was. Because we're talking about King David. Like, come on. A brother who slayed thousands of thousands, right? Who was a better man than, y'all might have forgot about him, King Saul. King Saul was a Benjamite. He was wicked as hell. He tried to get David killed on multiple accounts, right? He was given an order to slay all the Amalekites, and he didn't do it. He was disobedient. He was arrogant. He was feeling himself, right? And the Lord was like, okay, you know what? Away with you, I'm going to make a man better than you. That's exactly what he did. And don't get me wrong, David was a better man than Saul. I'll tell you that much. But this is where he messed up. He messed up right here, right? So now, let's see. How much time do I got? I'll finish up these last couple verses, and then we'll end the class. So let's see. Verse 12. Now it says, and the Lord sent Nathan unto David. And he came in unto him and said unto him, there were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds. The poor man had nothing save one little ewe lamb, meaning like, he had one baby lamb in a sense, which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children, and it did eat of his own meat and drink of his own cup and lay in his bosom and was unto him as a daughter. So pretty much this was like a pet to him. He loved this lamb. He grew up with it. Like, he didn't really view, this wasn't one of those like, okay, this is preparing the lamb for slaughter kind of thing. It's like you have a dog. You get a dog as a puppy. You love the dog. It's like a part of your family now, right? So this is what the poor man had for this lamb. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him. But the poor man's lamb, and dressed it for the man that was come to him. So now, here's the thing. Now, this is talking about, okay, so you got the rich man, you got the poor man. The rich man had exceeding stock, he had a farm, all that good stuff. Then you had the poor man who had one animal, but he treated it as if it was his own family member. It says like he viewed it like, as like a pet, like a daughter in a sense. Some people be like, they have a dog, but like, oh, that's my son right there. Like, it's not literally your son, but it's like a son. It's like a child to you, right? So just so we're all clear. But instead of taking from the rich man who has all this, right? He's not caring about it. They took the poor man's lamb. Imagine somebody coming to you and, taking your dog away from you that you've been with for 5 years. You done grew up with it, nourished it, cared for it. It's a part of the family. It's mine now. You're going to feel some type. Like, man, like what? You feel like a part of your family just got taken away from you. I think anybody would feel like that, right? So now we're going to read how David feels about this. So this is a report that's been made to David. So it says, and David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die. So the reason why David is feeling like this, because he's looking at it from how I just explained it. He's like, what? So you mean to tell me this poor man who barely has anything, who raised this lamb as if it was his own child, this person took that lamb away from him? He felt a sense of sympathy and empathy for the man. Like, you took something from him, right? So that's why he was angry. So now it says, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing and because he had no pity. Meaning, like, you know what? He's going to give him back fourfold of what he already had, because he had no pity. He had no mercy on this man. He already has so little. This is very compassionate of David, right? This sounds like a very honorable thing in a sense, right? But let's keep reading. Verse 7. And Nathan said unto David, just like it said to David, thou art the man. What does that mean? Thou art the man. What you got, brother?
It's like slang for saying, like, who you think you are.
Say that one more time.
In today's talk, I guess it's like you're not who you think you are. Like, you're not the man. You're not that honorable.
In a sense, yes. He's kind of calling him out. So when he says, and Nathan said to David, thou art the man, what he's saying is, here's the thing. This story that Nathan is telling David, it never happened. This didn't happen. What he's saying is, you are that man. You are the man that took from the man with the lamb. This is you. And he says, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul. Saul was the Benjamite who was an evil, wicked king. And I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives unto thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. Meaning the Lord gave David all these things. Like he's King David. Like he's still famous to this day. This dude's been dead for thousands of years, and we still talk about him because he was just that great, right? So let's keep reading. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in this sight? Thou hast killed Uri, the Hittite, with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. And now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uri the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun. For thou didst it secretly, because that's what he tried to do. He tried to cover it up. But I will do this thing before all of Israel and before the sun. So pretty much what's going on is, like I said before, the Lord saw everything. So the Lord sent Nathan to David. That story of the lamb, it never happened. It was a metaphor. When he says, thou art the man, he was saying, you are that man that took so little. It's like that took from the man that had so little. Because here you are, King David, you have the money. Like, you got to understand. Like, I'm just keep it real with you. Sisters are attracted to powerful men. I'm just being honest. Okay, they are. It's just, it is what it is, right? And King David was a very powerful man. He had the money, he had the status, he had the wealth. And, I mean, the brother was a warrior. Right? Don't get it twisted. The brother was a warrior before he was a king. So he earned that title, okay? When it says, I think what I'm paraphrasing, when it said that Saul slayed thousands, it said that King David slayed hundreds of thousands, meaning that he was even greater than Saul, right? You got to understand that this was a mighty man, a powerful man through and through. He was honored, like everything that a man could want, King David had it. But despite everything he had, he looked over at somebody else's wife and said, you know, I want her. This man already got wives. He could find a new wife tomorrow and the next day, and like he could have 100 wives if he wanted to. But you took from somebody else, and this is something else. People like to overlook this, because Uri was a Hittite. He was not an Israelite. He was from another nation, right? That doesn't make it right. It doesn't matter. Like, because I know I've met some Israelites that like to say, of course not in school, but some fake Israelites who like to say, well, you know, because I get it. Of course, like as brothers, we don't like to see our women with a heathen man. Here's the thing, brothers. If you see a black woman with a Chinese man, that's her husband. That's her husband, okay? Yes, we know we don't like the sight of it, just like how sisters don't like the sight of, you know, us brothers being with heathen women. And you lay down with her, that's your wife, right? She's not of Israel, but that is your wife. Same thing with sisters. For sisters, it's even more, I want to say more important. That's not the word I'm looking for. I want to say it's more impactful, because a brother can have multiple wives, but a woman cannot have multiple husbands. So once she lays down with that man, that's her husband. And she can't leave him until he dies. If she does, she's a whore. Even if he is a heathen man, keep that in mind. So even though you see a sister who might be with a man from another nation, that doesn't mean you get to go in and sleep with her. That's not how that works. The law still stands even for her. That's her man. All right. Now, you know, if the Lord decides, okay, you know what, I'm gonna kill this heathen, now she's free from the law because she's widowed. Now she's a woman who can be married according to the law. But if she with a man, regardless, it don't matter if he's an Edomite or Hittite, it don't matter if he's a Japanese man, a Chinese man, a Hamite, an African, an Ethiopian, no matter what it is, she got a man. All right. That's something to keep in mind when reading these scriptures, because sometimes brothers will try to be like, well, you know, she shouldn't be with him anyway. It's too late. She already is. Bathsheba was already with Uriah. It doesn't matter if he was a Hittite or not. David should not have gotten him killed just so he could. I mean, he already slept with her, but he shouldn't have got him killed to cover up his sin. Because now the Lord's seen it, and just to paraphrase real quick, because we're about to end the class, his child ends up dying. That child that Bathsheba ends up having, it ends up dying, right? And David was hurting, right? And like I said before, these lustful acts can lead to death, because now Uri died and David's son died. Think about that, right? Meaning that the Lord sees everything. The Lord sees everything. Don't think that you can outsmart the Most High. He's called the Ancient of Days for a reason. My father used to always tell me, what was this? What was he saying? Oh my goodness. He always used to say to me, I wasn't born yesterday. He always used to say that. Because I was a kid, and you know, this is for kids out there, like you try to outsmart your parents, yeah, good luck with that. Trust me, we were all kids at one point too. I tried to outsmart my dad and my mom plenty of times, and my dad was so cold with it sometimes. He would make me think that I outsmarted him, and then boom, he'd be like, yeah, I already knew this whole time. I'm like, oh. I remember it was one time I walked home from school. I came in, my TV was going, and my dad ain't say nothing. I'm looking like, what I do? And he was like, oh yeah, remember when you told me you was staying after school to do some homework? Yeah, I knew you was going over that girl's house. I drove by you. You just didn't realize it. I'm like, damn. I ain't even know he knew. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even know. But, you know, at that point, it was like, well, he got me. Same thing with the Most High. Most High see everything. There's an angel over you right now. You can't see them, but they can see you. Everybody got an angel, a messenger over them, and they're making reports to the Most High. He did this, she did that. It could be good, it could be good things, or it could be bad things. And Most High knows, right? David tried to cover it up. You already knew. So that guilt that you feel when you know you did something wrong, you're like, I hope nobody finds out. The Most High already found out. So you think about that. That's what lust can do to a person, right? Any sin, for that matter. It doesn't just have to be lust. It could be anything. You're stealing from somebody, like how he stole his wife. Most High sees that. If you're, how can I say this? Partaking in watching adult films in secrecy. For those of y'all who don't know, I'm going to just say what it is. Pornography is just, don't do that. Okay, don't watch that stuff. And I know some people try to argue with me about a lot of things. Let me break it down to you. Let me break it down to you in a non-biblical way. When you are old enough and you partake in this activity with your significant other, there is actually a chemical in your brain that releases. Anybody know what it's called? It's called dopamine. Your brain actually naturally secretes dopamine that, again, I'm sorry, I'm trying to PG this. That feeling that you get, that's, forgive me, y'all, I'm really trying to PG this right now. That sensation that you get, right? That's the dopamine being released in your brain, right? That's natural, though. That's natural. Y'all learn one day when y'all get old enough. But for those y'all who are old enough and understand what I'm saying, that feeling, that sensation that you get, that's natural. Here's what happens when you start watching adult films, and all y'all who watching OnlyFans accounts and stuff in secrecy. What happens is you start to rewire your brain. You start to desire watching other people partake in that activity to get that sensation. But it's like a drug. They actually did a CAT scan. I found this out like years ago. They did a CAT scan of somebody who, I don't remember what drug they did, but they did drugs, and then somebody who had a porn addiction. They CAT scanned both of their brains together. It looked the same. Because what happens is that dopamine, it starts to reach higher levels when you watch these things, right? And people who, they just go full send and they get addicted to it, they'll want to watch something even more extreme. And then more extreme, and then more extreme. It's like a high. Like, you know, you hit that blunt, and now somebody introduced a new strand in you. You're like, man, this one hit different than the last one. I don't like that other one. Now I want this one. Then you get a new one. Oh, this one's even better. Then you go back to your old one, and you're like, this don't hit the same. It's the same thing with porn addiction. So what happens is, this is why some brothers suffer from ED, which is erectile dysfunction, because now you've become so addicted to watching other people partake in this. Now, let's say you got a rib, or let's say you ain't got a rib yet, right? But there's a woman that you're interested in, and you know, you court the sister, you know, whatever, you like this woman, and now it's time to, you know, handle business. And let's just say your partner in crime downstairs, he ain't ready to knock at the door, and you're wondering what in the hell is going on. That's due to you watching adult films. That's what happened. You ain't got to believe me. I ain't even got to use the Bible for that one. That's a study that y'all can go study for yourselves. So I'm trying to help y'all out. I don't know who's doing it on the low. You ain't got to tell me. The Most High already knows. Okay. I'm just here to relay the message in hopes that maybe somebody will watch this and not partake in these. And this isn't just for men, by the way. This is for women too. This is for women too who partake in this. And then you get a real man, you know, and you want to do what you want to do with him, and now you're just like, this ain't the same. Because I can't even go into that one because it's kids in here. But y'all get what I mean by that, right? Y'all can brainstorm on that one. But yes, but in a sense, it destroys you. It destroys you. Okay, it destroys you mentally and sexually. All right, so just keep that in mind. I'm just throwing that out there. All right. But with that, does anybody have any questions? I see you over here thinking about it. You got any questions, brother? You good?
I'm still like wondering why how like the baby that like King David's like son died. So like doesn't that mean like he killed a man for no reason?
Like you're wondering why King David's son died? Oh, you're talking about Amnon?
Yeah.
Why did he die?
Yeah.
Well, that was the Lord in a sense. Now, because David, so I'll briefly talk about it, right? David found out later, David wasn't the one that killed Amnon, but Absalom, he found out. So he ended up dying, right? This is like what I was talking about earlier, like sin can lead to destruction. Because Amnon allowed for that lustful spirit to take hold of him, he ended up sexually assaulting his sister. I mean, he disrupted the family. He brought shame to the family. Like, nobody wants to go through that. It's supposed to be a royal family, a family of status, right? Nobody wants this in their family, regardless if you have status or not. And he brought shame to the family. And in the end, Amnon ended up dying because of it. He got killed because they wanted vengeance on him. King David didn't want it, but they wanted vengeance, and well, he died. He died because of that, right? That's what lust brought about. And it can happen in many different ways. Same thing with, we just read about David. David, he got Uriah killed. He wasn't an Israelite, but it doesn't matter. He didn't need to die. He died for no reason, right? He died because somebody who is an Israelite decided to sin. And now not only did he die, David unknowingly caused the death of his future son. Now, luckily, after that, he repented and, he learned his lesson, and, King Solomon came after, not too long after, but his firstborn, he died. He didn't need to die, but that's something to think about, because now what you need to understand is your actions can lead to consequences for other people. It's like drinking and driving. If I get drunk and I get into a car and I'm driving and I'm swerving all over the place and I hit a family, I might live. I might come out with maybe like a fractured bone or whatever. I heal, I'm good. That family might have kids. There might be a baby in the backseat of that car. That baby's dead because of my actions, because I decided to be a drunkard, which is against the Bible. Drinking is not against the Bible, but being an alcoholic is. If you're just blasted drunk and blacked out and I'm getting behind the wheel, I mean, that's against the law. I mean, look, y'all listen to Esau's laws all the time, right? So, that's against the law. Drinking and driving, you get a DUI, right? And I killed somebody because of that. That's my fault. I had no business getting behind that wheel. I had no business getting that drunk. My sin led to more sin, and somebody died because of it. Now they lost somebody. They lost their daughter, their son, niece, nephew, grandma, grandpa, whoever was in there. They might have all died. And now, not only did they die, who knows what's going to happen to me? I'm going to get thrown in jail. So now, because of my sin, I'm incarcerated. They're dead. You see how it all kind of builds up? So yeah, that's pretty much what happened with this. That one thing that they did, it just opened up a can of worms and it just led to more stuff. So it's just something to think about. This is why, there's consequences for, your actions sometimes. So before you think about doing something, don't even think about you and how it can affect you. Think about, okay, how can this affect my friend or my mother or my father or my sister? Or, if you have kids, how is this going to affect my son or my daughter? How? You might not even realize how until it's too late. So just to avoid all of that, just don't do it. If you feel like it's wrong, look, get some counsel, talk about it, do whatever you got to do. But if you know for a fact it's a sin, Don't do it. I promise you. I promise you. The Lord knows. And look, this is one thing I like to say to people sometimes. The Lord can forgive you, right? But you don't want to play with the Lord's mercy. You might sin, right? You might do something that's against the law. And you're like, oh, like David. David sinned. And I believe he fasted. And he asked for forgiveness. Now, his son still died. He still had to pay for that. But the Lord could have killed David. The Lord could have killed David and Bathsheba right there for what they did. He repented, and the Lord, he paid his dues to the Lord, and the Lord forgave him later on, and he never did it again. Right? That's called repenting for your sins. Like if you look at repent in the Bible in the Hebrew, it actually translates, one of the definitions is sorry, to be sorry. Now, when you're really sorry, let's say if I offend the brother for whatever reason, right? And I'm genuinely sorry to this brother, I'm not just going to apologize. I'm never going to do it again. That's really being sorry. But if I just keep offending this brother over and over and over, I'm not sorry. I'm saying it, but I'm not showing it. That's what it means to repent, right? So you might have the chance to repent for your sins. Most High in Christ, the Lord had mercy on you. But don't play with the Most High. Don't abuse that. Don't think it's like, okay, well, the Lord didn't kill me today, so I'm good. You've been sinning for 5 years. Oh, the Lord didn't kill me yet, so I'm good. Keep racking up them tally marks if you want to. One day the Lord is going to be like, okay, you know what? Make him get into a car crash. Make it to where his wife dies. Make it to where his child dies. We just read about it right here. Make it to where, you know what? I won't even kill you because there's plenty of ways to harm you. The Lord might get you into a car accident. You might not even die. You might just be a paraplegic now. You're paralyzed from the waist down. You can't walk anymore. Or you might get into an accident at work. I don't know what you do for work. Something might get in your eyes and now you're blind forever, right? You might get diabetes because you've been eating pork on the low for too long. And you've been healthy as a horse and now all of a sudden, now you got to take insulin shots. There's plenty of ways for the Lord to punish you. So don't play with him. When you repent, make sure you mean it. Don't even put yourself in a position to repent. But if it happens, you better make sure it never happens again. Just throwing that out there because Christians, they'll tell you, God hates the sin, but not the sinner. You can just keep sinning away and okay. Yeah, you keep doing that. The water, I appreciate it. So yeah, that's all I got for that. When the class. Any more questions? It's wild. Okay. Most High in Christ. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna end the class. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. So Amadium, just me up here. Laya Sharala, which means to Israel in the Hebrew. Men of Israel, gird up thy loins to prepare to salute the Torah. So I'm going to step over here. Okay. So stand up. Remember how to salute the Torah? It's just the brothers. So you'll go Amadi. So Just saying just like this. So imagine, I am Shabbat.
I am Sabbath.
So right there. Imagine. So get back in the budget. And then you'll put this hand here. And then you put your other hand like a rock. So go ahead. So you'll say Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Barak, Yah. Just like that. And that's it. So now you're man here. So you're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna walk you through it. So imagine just like this. So you're saying. So matter of fact, this is option. Mind holding the toilet quick. So stand right here. So just copy what I do, okay? So imagine just like this. Then you will go imagine Shabbat. So you're gonna take your right foot and you're gonna step out like this. And then imagine. And then now you're gonna take this hand, you're gonna put it right here, and take this hand like that, and you're gonna repeat after me. So you're gonna say Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak, Yah. There you go. So now I'm gonna assume it. So you'll step over there. Yah Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak, Yah. So now, actually, you can just give the toilet back to me. Cool, I appreciate it. Madim Aponya Hakodam, which means to rise and stand and face the east. So we're going to face this way. I'm going to begin started with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Just pronounce it as best as you can. It's the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash. Y'all repeat after me. Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Batzaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Latananawa, Haka, Lakam, Call, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawathinawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Banasaiwan, Abal, Habashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wadaparath, Lawalumian, Aman. Now in the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Let's see. I inbox you. Can you check your messages, please, on Messenger? No sweats. I'll check it right after I'm done with the class. Let's see. Hakah, which is the power in the Hebrew. Oh no, this is somebody else. Oh, Salakia. My fault. I thought that was for me. Never mind, Salakia. All right, this Hakah, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Babakasha, Latananawa, Hakah, Hakah, Larapa'ah, Call, Makala, Wakal, Madawa, Hakah, Latahar, Ha, Matazarayan, Hakah, Lahakwayan, Hamathian, Hakah, Al, Raka'af, Hatama'ala, Lagarashun, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, the water, Amun. Now in the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power
the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. The blessings in the Hebrew, Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Wa Mayaka Allah, Wa Alahayim, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapdim, Ha Saronyim, Ha Kwatazayoyim, Ha Kayayoyim, Wa Ha'akwathian, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for water, a month. Now in the English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. For these ones, I'll just say them in the Hebrew. Y'all don't got to repeat them. Just repeat it when I do the English. Just for time's sake. All right, this is Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, All, Haharyim, Ma'yan, Yaba'ah, Izoria, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, Ayatan, Lamawat, Wagalka, All Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashun, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, looks like it, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Yad, Yemyamka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'afka, Wabawa'afka, Maita, Wa'ai, Awalam. Now Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in. It's like from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew, Alahayim, all Damayalaka, all Takarash, wa all Tashakwat, all Kayahana, Awayebika, Yahama Yawan, Ra'ash, Al Amaka, Ya'armwa, Sabada, Wayata, that's like it, Wayata, Ya'atazawa, Io, Tazawanika, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakinum, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasharala, Awada, Kaya, Nawai Tazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Ayaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahalya, Adawam, Wayashma'alium, Mawa'aba, Wahagorium, Gabal, Wamawan, Wamalak, Balashaf, Amishabia, Tazawar, Gum Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zorawai, Labunya Lawat, Salah, Aisha Laham, Kamadyam, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayebyan, Banakal, Koyashwan, that's like Nashamarwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La Adama, Shayatamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kairab, Wakaza Abba, Wakaza Bak, Wakata Zalmanai, Kal Nasayakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayarasha, Nalawa, Ath, Naawath, Alahayam, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapanya, Raka'a, Ka'ash, Tabaira, Yaira, Wa Kalahaba, Balahat, Haryam, Kun, Tharadatma, Basairaka, Wabasa, Wapathka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Panyahum, Kwalawan, Waya, Bakwashwa, Shimka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Ayai, Waya Kaparwa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Dayawa, Kaya Ata, Shimka, Yahawa, Labadka, Iawan, Alcohol, Haratza. Now, Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O Lord.
Hold not thy peace,
Hold not thy peace.
and be not still,
Be not still,
O God.
O God,
For lo,
for lo,
thine enemies make atonement,
Thy enemies make atonement.
and they that hate thee
They that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
I lift up the head,
They have taken crafty counsel
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people,
against thy people,
and consulted
and consulted
against thy hidden ones.
against thy enemy.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
come,
and let us cut them off
and let us cut them off
from being a nation,
from being a nation,
that the name of Israel
the name of Israel
may be no more in remembrance.
may no more be remembered.
For they have consulted together
They have consulted together.
with one consent.
With one consent,
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites
the Ishmaelites
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
and the Hagarenes,
Gebal, and Ammon,
and
and Amalek,
the Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with them.
Assur is also joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of God.
Salah.
Salah,
Do unto them
do unto them
as unto the Midianites,
As unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as
as
to
to Jabin,
at the brook of Kison,
at the brook of Son,
which perished at Endor.
which perished.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung as the earth.
Make their nobles like a red,
Make their nobles like a red.
and like Zaid.
Zaid.
Yea,
yea,
all their princes,
All their princes,
as Zabah,
as Zabah,
and as Zalmunna,
and as a moon,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of God in possession.
the houses of God as possession.
O my God,
Oh my God,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as a stubble before the wind,
as a stubble of the wind,
as the fire burneth the wood,
as the fire burneth,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
and as the flame set the mouth on fire.
So persecute them
So persecute them
with thy tempest,
with thy tempest,
and make them afraid
and
make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Lord,
O Lord,
let them be confounded
Let them be confounded
and troubled
in trouble
forever.
forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish,
and men may know
and
that
then
they
we
may
will know
know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
the name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high
are the Most High
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
Oh yeah, Salagi says I misread that. The water. All right, so what we'll do is men of Israel prepare to salute the teacher. So give one courtesy salute to the teacher. So you're just gonna copy exactly what I prepared. So remember, so this is a majim right here. So a majim Shabbat, your right foot out and behind you. Then a majim, Barak, and now y'all are gonna say Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barak Ta. Go ahead.
Barak, Yahweh Shah, Barak,
Well, so no, you two take your time. So
Yahweh Shah,
Yahweh,
Barak, Yahweh, Hashem.
Hashem,
so it's so actually let me make it simple. Right, where is it? Right here. So you see the greeting right there. So you see for the brothers. So you're gonna repeat that, but you're gonna so for Hebrew it's right to left. So instead of reading that Yahweh Shai first, you're actually gonna read backwards. So it'll be. So I'm gonna help y'all out. So Shalom,
Shalom,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashin,
Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shah,
Barak,
Barak,
Atha.
Atha.
So Atha is singular because it's just me up here. So now I'm going to repeat to you guys, Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barak Thumb, because there's two of you. The thumb is plural. So now what we'll do is for the young lady right here, we'll give one courtesy salute to the sister. So you guys are gonna turn around. So for the young for the young sister, so you'll take your hands like this. We go like this, okay? So now we're gonna do the greeting for the sisters to her. So now you guys are gonna repeat after me. So it's gonna be Shalom,
Shalom,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamar,
Shamar,
Al,
Al,
Atha,
Atha,
Bahashem,
Bahashim,
Yahweh Shai.
Yahushai.
So now you're gonna repeat it. So I'm gonna help you out. So you say Shalom,
Shalom,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamar,
Shamar,
Al,
Al,
Atha,
Atha,
Bahashem,
Bahashim,
Yahweh Shai.
Yahushai.
And then I'll say Yajimata, so you put your hands down, and I'll say class dismiss, and then that's it. So just like that. Those are the salutes. So, all right. Shalom, Israel.